all positions will be up for grabs, even mine. So if you can be the president and then we'll have that, everybody will be given a position to be in the leadership. So even mine is going to be up for grabs. So as we celebrate International Week of the Midwife, I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you and anticipate the invaluable insights and inspiration that will define this conference. Let us seize this opportunity to learn, grow, and excel as international nurses and midwives. We have guests from all over, all the way from Kenya. We have all the way from Cambridge, I think we London. Wow. Yeah, so we have people from around the Leeds, Wakefield, yeah, and Rotherham as well. Have we got people from and Sheffield? We have people from Sheffield as well. Manchester, that's it. So please, karibuni sana. We said we are going to keep saying karibuni. Karibuni says welcome. Karibuni sana, and please enjoy the conference that we have.
Of nurses and assistant nurses. And also, if you take the healthcare context, its challenges is huge. It's multifaceted. Financially, we are challenged. If you take the disease from the disease condition perspective, almost 95% of the patients whom you see will be having multimorbidity. They will be having multiple diseases. And just treated by the doctors is not good enough. We need more, clinical practice like nurses and other people to enter that area. And also, nurses are naturally good leaders. Do you agree? Because as part of our training, as soon as you get the PIN number, you need to show the leadership skills to demonstrate, to run the shift. That's not easy. So we are all natural leaders. So imagine if we are excelling in what we are doing, how much impact it will be in the communities. Did you get me? So if you are going to excel, our patients are going to get the best care. You agree? And then, once we excel, we build our leaders. We build other leaders. If we are growing, we just help others to grow, isn't it? So by doing that one, we will be influencing our communities more. Do you agree? Right. Okay. So, sharing my journey, if you take me, I am Kumar. I just came from India. I am from Pondicherry, it's a small town south of Chennai. I done my diploma in nursing there. I came to this country about 21 years before. And one of my sister was sharing about her journey. She said that she done the adaptation program. So I came during that period. I didn't have any English exam or anything like that, IELTS, or if they are going to have IELTS, I might not be here today because my English is not so good. But one thing, I'm very good in my job. I know how to do my job, yeah? So I came here, I became a band 5, and within 12 months I became a band 6. So I worked in a forensic psychiatric hospital, and that's a place where you can see the racism at rife, yeah? So I think they were doing some sort of interviews, and there are a lot of white people acting up. And I applied. Nobody even bothered to ask me, do you need any help? Or they thought that I'm not going to get it. But you know what happened? The people, never 4 or 5, there are only 3 posts available there. There were already about 5 people acting up. None of the people who acted up got the role. And I was second in the interview. That's the thing that gave me a lot of confidence. So the journey started there. 3 years I was a band 6, then I became a band 7. Then after, when you become the band 7, you'll be hitting the glass ceiling. So then, all the people who are helping you, they'll be gradually distant from you at that time, because that's a glass ceiling. They will get threatened. So after reaching the 7, I had the same problem. Then I need to seek support. I need to leave the place where I was working. I was the ward manager there. One day my boss was doing the appraisal. Yeah. So she was asking the next 3 years where you want to be. So I said that I want to be there. So then she said, where you want me to go? I said, I don't want you to go anywhere, but what I'm saying is that in the next 3 years I want to be there. Imagine, after that I had a special treatment. And then I thought that it's not worth being there. So I left that place, went out. I went to Midlands Partnership Trust. I was a service manager there. Then I was there for about 3 years, then went to Manchester as a general manager. There about 18 months, and again I came back to Nottinghamshire as a general manager, 8C, for 2.5 years. Then I came back to the same trust as a director. And what happened is that the person who asked me where I want to be in the next 3 years, I became her boss. So in the first one-to-one, I was having one-to-one. So I was saying, hi, how are you? And she was saying that, Kumar, I'm going to retire in the next 1 year. I want a very respectful retirement. So what I'm saying is that if your vision is very clear, God will help you to achieve. He will bring people at the right stage to help you. And finally, she got the retirement. She did not invite me for the special retirement party. So, right. So when I was looking at this journey, so I know that I excelled. I always work hard. But what are the three things that came to my mind is, one is about the vision. Yeah, I always is very clear about where I want to be. The next one is about goals, and the next one is about what I'm going to do, actions. Yeah. Right. If you take about vision is about being very clear where you want to be. Yeah. Most of you are Christians here. I think like that, and a proverb: when they lack vision, they perish. It says in Proverbs. Yeah. So you need to have a clear vision. When we started the British Indian Nurses Association, we had a vision of supporting people. Yeah, that's our vision. So we started that with just 200 people, and now our association crossed more than 4,000. Because the vision is so huge, it's able to attract people, and anybody who is coming from India, they will be contacting us to provide pastoral support. And after that, what happens is that we help them to progress in their career. In the last 3 years, we helped more than 350 people to progress in their careers. So it's about clear vision. The next one is about, it needs to be values driven. Your vision needs to be value driven. Working in the healthcare for a very long year, for many years, I don't have any vision saying that the next 5 years I need to be a millionaire. I don't have that sort of vision at all. It's more about values. So we are there to help people. What difference we are going to make to our patients? What difference we are going to make to our staff? So did you get me? The first one, vision. Yeah, it needs to be very clear, and then it needs to be values driven. The next one is about the goals. Yeah. So if you take the goals, there is a very famous quote that says, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible to visible. Yeah. So if you take the goals, I think it needs to be inspiring you. Yeah. If it's not inspiring, you need to just check whether it's a goal or not. And that goal needs to excite you. For example, when we formed Bina, that discussion around how we are going to be there about supporting people, how we are going to transform people's lives. You know, everybody, they are just hitting the glass ceiling. They don't know how to progress, you know, with all those. So we were so inspired and we were so excited about that particular idea. And SMART goals, you all know that you all do appraisals. I'm not going to go into detail about that one. And the relevance, that's very important. How, in what way that goal is relevant to your vision. Did you get me? You are having a vision, you are having a goal, it needs to be relevant. And what happens is that you may be having some sort of, yes, I'm going to do this by this. And you'll be having various milestones. Sometimes you may not be, the line may not be a straight line. Yeah? Things will happen. For example, when I was doing masters in the University of Birmingham, when I came to this country, I had only a diploma. When I came to this country, I'm very clear that I want to be a master's graduate. Yeah. Imagine within 1 year when we go to our managers and ask for that one, definitely they are not going to give that one. At the time they had a very vague rule, like unless and otherwise you are having ILR, indefinite leave to remain in this country, you need to pay about 3 times more fee than the home students. So they asked me whether I need to pay 10,000 pounds like that. So. You know, I don't give up. Usually when I think something, I just try to persevere. So I went to the course code and saying that, see, my boss will allow me, but the problem is only the money. I can't pay that much of money. So what you can do? So she went and spoke to the head of the school and everybody. And then they came back to me saying that, Kumar, we had a chat. We agreed that you can do it free. So we started the MSc. Everything was going on okay, and suddenly when I was in the middle of the course, my dad passed away. So I could not finish the dissertation, a lot of things were there. Why I am saying is that sometimes you will be having milestones, it won't go straight, there will be a lot of other issues that will happen. Somebody will be losing some loved ones, and there may be some other family issues or some other issues. So you need to be always reviewing the milestones and see what the support you can provide. Then afterwards I had some sort of extra support, I completed that one. So, you know, these goals, it needs to excite you, and if it's so, it will give you some sort of personal satisfaction when you achieve it, yeah? So, when the visions and goals are clear, the next one is the actions. This is the most important bit. The first 2 bits will be okay. We will be having visions, dreaming, yeah, everything will be okay, and then goals. The actions bit is the most challenging one, because you need to have a clear plan about how you are going to do it. Yes, I am going to do masters. It's going to take this much of time. How I am going to do that? My mother tongue is not English. I was not accustomed to doing assignments back in my home place. In my home place, we go through each and every book. We memorize. I know from the first page to last page. Yeah. And they will be asking questions. What's myocardial infarction? I'll be saying that, oh, myocardial infarction is defined as. Like that I know 1, 2, 3, 4, like that I know that one. I am brought in that way of, you know. And suddenly here, everybody say you critically analyze, and you need to, you debate, you can agree to disagree, you know, all of this important, yeah. So those things are very challenging for me. And so I know that those are all my shortfalls, and I was able to seek support. So those are the things we need to understand. What plans we are having for some of our shortfalls in achieving that one. The next one is that along with the planning, this determination is very important. You need to be determined. Did you get me? If you are not going to be determined, nobody can push you. The other key thing is the people. This is another major thing. People, what I meant is that mentors, coaches, supportive networks like Kenma, yeah, and for example, we'll be having a lot of other networks. So it's about how you going to tap into various people to keep you on track and help you to achieve. So that's very important. The last one is perseverance. This is the key here. If you don't have the perseverance, things are not going to be easy in this country, trust me. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes you will try, you will be knocked down, and sometimes you'll be knocked down by the different people. Most of the times, we will be knocked down by our own people. Nobody even talk about that one. So that's the key. So we need to think about how we are going to persevere and how we are going to be resilient. That's going to be very important. Out of this, one example which I want to share is around the perseverance. I'm not saying just simply that one. I felt that one, I lived that life, I know how it is like.
One of the biggest challenge that I have experienced, that my diaspora group experiences, is that our health system that we have trained in and practiced in tends to be very different culturally to the practice here. So it's a lot of different systems, and trying to understand and navigate that system, that's a very big challenge for colleagues. So usually you will come with a lot of experience as an international colleague. You will have experience in education, in research, in management, and be a very experienced nurse. But because you've come into a different system that you do not understand, and when you examine some of those challenges in the new system, it sits very much on the opposite end of the system that you trained in. So trying to understand that and navigate that, it becomes a major stumbling block for a lot of us, because it involves a lot of mindset change, because that's not seem to align with the values that you are bringing and the experience and expertise, when you find that the values in your new system are contradicting what you've been brought up on. So having to change that. So I suppose you could say it's the culture of the health system here, which is a major challenge, because nursing is the same everywhere. It is the culture that is a challenge.
That's very interesting, thank you. Yeah, I've supported a lot of internationally educated nurses struggling with the system of all the policies and the procedures and the documentation that they have to do here, which is very different to the system that they've worked in, and many nurses obviously fall foul of that and then have to go through disciplinaries, etc. So Stella, would you like to add any more to that question about the challenges the diaspora nurses face, both in the workplace but also kind of in their personal lives when they're moving to the UK?
Thank you. I think it's mostly the same as my colleague has said. It's the cultural changes at workplace. But one of the things I found out recently, socially, I would think, is housing association people to find accommodation when they move in. It has been, for some people, quite difficult. And I think in the market, because inflation is quite high, and I think housing are expensive, quite expensive, and people to settle in. But also for them to bring their families in, because it's about them bringing their families in when they are properly settled. So it can be a challenge. It all depends, I think, on different work where people are and what support is there for people. The other thing, of course, I wanted to mention is just isolation, which is when they come here, maybe they're in a place they don't know anyone, they don't know where services are. So it can be a challenging when somebody comes to and just how lifestyle is. So being able to come together like the way we are, I think is quite a big thing, because you get support and get knowledge or experience from other people. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've come across nurses who are working in small care homes in kind of small rural communities, who are just the only international nurse there in a very, very kind of white local community, which is very hard. Did you want to add to that question, Gamma? Yeah. Okay. We can just pass that.
I would like to add on challenges, and the greatest of them all is the challenges international nurses are facing in terms of bringing family to the UK. When we come from Africa, there are things that are customary, whereby it's only known by families that Gamu is married to Peter. I don't have a marriage certificate, maybe the copy, but it's legal back home. My family knows that I'm married to someone. And then when I'm coming to the UK, now the UK wants a marriage certificate, which I am very happy to do. But then when it comes, so many questions follow. Why is it in 2021 when you are saying you've been married since 2012? Yet I've been married. This is not a cooked marriage. I've got evidence of children. So those are some of the challenges that international nurses are facing. And not only that, you can escape the hurdle of marriage certificate and everything. You have it. I have a child who is above 18, still in uni back home. He's still my dependent. I'm here with his siblings. I can't bring him here. I'm asking for a visitor's visa. They still don't feel the importance of having him here. It's expensive for me to take the family back so that we can see the brother. So those are some of the challenges that are really affecting us as international nurses, because I can't be happy when I don't have my kids. I can't function normally when I miss my family. And considering the money that I get and the expense that is, the expenses that I incur if I think of going home now, because I might want to go home and see my son. But when I get there, I'm not only there for my son. I have aunties, we have big families. So it's really a challenge that we hope one day our voices will be heard. We want our families here. If they don't want to give them dependent visas, it's fine. Can they just allow them visitors visa so that they can come and visit? So it contributes to a lot of stress, and many mistakes are bound to happen when one is working under stress. So it's not just stress of things locally, but it's also stress from other forces, which includes challenges with bringing family to the UK.
Yes, so, and just to add a little bit more to that, we're going to come to, was it, how did you say your name again, sorry? Your name? Olivia. Yeah, sorry. Could you add a little bit more as well, from your perspective, about how the international nursing associations, such as Kenyan, Zimbabwean nurses, can help individuals overcome these problems as well, in addition to your thoughts?
I think in addition to what we've said as well, the system does tend to forget that we are human beings, that we are mothers or fathers or brothers or sisters. I think you are looked at as per shift. You are looked as the number who is supposed to be looking after somebody else. How are you going to do that when you know that there's something that you're still thinking of behind, you've left your family behind? That adds to your stress. Now, how can we, as the associations, the Zambian, Kenyan, Zimbabweans, how can we be able to work out a way to overcome this? I think in working together. Because these issues, I don't think a Zimbabwean will say this is...
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? I'm okay. How are you doing? Okay, how are you? Are you in the office? I mean, are you...
I think that no Zimbabwean would be able to say that these problems are for Kenyans, neither will Zambians say these problems are for Zimbabweans. They are all ours. When we have Kenya, Zimbabwe, Ghana, Nigeria, and different, coming together will be a force, because we'll be presenting these issues to the stakeholders as one, and not only as Zimbabwean or Kenyan. The problems that we face is for everybody. All of us feel it. All of us kind of, it's weighing down, and therefore then it affects the care of patients. That is what we came here to do, caring of the patients. But if we are having ourselves weighed down, how can we be able to execute that care better?
Very good point, thank you. And obviously, Sally mentioned a year or two ago we went to Parliament with a lot of the international associations to represent that kind of united front, talking about these issues, and that was very powerful. So, Ambassador, if I could come to you now. We obviously heard in that last presentation that there are a lot of issues with recruitment agencies, obviously, and a lot of people having problems. So, what would you say are the key attributes that an effective, supportive recruitment agency should have, and how can we try and overcome some of these challenges that people are having? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the first thing that I would say is that any individual that is seeking to say come out here for work or whatever, they need to ensure that the agency that they are dealing with is approved by the government. I have seen a lot of people at home, not necessarily the people I'm dealing with, that are now complaining that they gave money to this person, that person, and they were given promises and so on, but they didn't, and the government then comes around and says, these guys are not registered with us. I think to me that is a basic point to start the conversation. Are these guys licensed? Are they authorized? And there is a website where you can find that information, and at the National Employment Authority, they have that. So you can find out that information there. Now, a good agency will also engage the individual in a very open conversation. Because you see, it is by understanding what you're looking for and your basic requirements, where do you want to go, and that kind of thing, so that you are able to be advised properly. And due diligence is also very, very critical. A lot of times I think the individuals would take what the agents or the agency says at gospel truth. I think it's upon them also to ensure that they investigate, they research, to make sure that these people really are what they say they are. And in addition to that, it's also a question of what do you know about where you're going as well. Because a lot of this information is actually out there and you can share. It's also important for one to be able to check the background of that particular agent. And you can check their websites, you can see whether there are testimonials there, what are people saying about them, and so on and so forth. That's also another issue that you need to have in mind. The experience of the agent or the people involved. What kind of information are they able to support you with? For instance, additional support services like onboarding, You see, what support can they offer in that? The relocation support and ongoing professional development opportunities. This agent needs to be able to guide those individuals on how they can develop themselves. I would also say comprehensive screening processes, should be able to conduct thorough background checks. And that is what I said, thorough background checks, credential verifications, of the guys you're dealing with, the competencies, and so on. So I would say, by and large, there are a number of things that one can do, but the basic one is to be able to do your due diligence. Who is this that I'm dealing with? Of course, if I come to you, a lot of times people will say how good they are, and so on and so forth. And therefore, if you don't check your points and facts clearly, you can land into difficulties. Thank you so much.
Thank you, yes. It's very, very important. And I would say, obviously, before you hand over any money to any kind of agency, it's that due diligence, because we've helped a number of UNIS members try to get money back from recruitment agents, and it's very, very difficult once obviously you've handed that money over. So moving on briefly from obviously some of the challenges, there's obviously a lot of benefits also to health systems in the UK and in Kenya from the experience and expertise of diaspora nurses. So Moses, obviously this is something that THET looks at quite a lot. So what would you say are some of the ways that diaspora nurses can contribute more over and above their day-to-day clinical practice, both to the health service in the UK and in Kenya and other nations?
Thank you, very good question. I think from our side, in THET, we are very proud to say actually, the UK is blessed to have over 214 different nationalities working there, which gives us a very rich connections globally, and which allows us to bring back those skills here in the UK. So actually, international recruitment and international recruited nurses should be celebrated. And one of the challenges we are having at the moment is majority of them are finding it difficult to progress within the NHS. There's the issues around supporting their capacity building as associations. I was working with the NHS Global Health team, and one of the challenges we are having is we had fellowships, people going out, but very rare did you have someone from international recruited nurse or doctor taking those opportunities. So the visibilities of these associations, the voices coming out more of some of our international recruited staff need to be highlighted. However, also some of the challenges we're having is issues around the home countries. are they open enough to allow renovate people bringing back those skills? Because at times when people move, those in those countries see them as maybe letting them down. You've left the hospital, but can they look at the other side of seeing those diasporans returning those skills back home to improve services? And how can we communicate that better as the diaspora community? The other challenge is often uniting ourselves. When I've gone to THET and realized we have about 50 organizations who are linked towards health, and all of them are working hard, but are they working together? And how do we unite ourselves better? And how do we encourage leadership within those associations? Because it's also weak sometimes. People have to work and also do this sort of work on the side. So within THET, I'm trying to champion how do we look at resourcing some of those associations. Kenya is one of our interested countries because we are leading on their global health workforce program with the Ministry of Health. But again, the voice of the diaspora within that program, I think THET want more of that being involved, but how do we encourage more to be involved? How do we bring some of those diaspora nurses in there? It's a good way of working together. I think for me, we need to celebrate the nurses. We need to celebrate the diaspora. We need to look at elevating some of those voices, showing the positive impact of some of those things, because it's easier sometimes to look at the negatives. But also encourage utilizing areas of encouraging some of our health professionals to evolve within their workplaces. I don't know. Thank you.
It was a good answer, thank you. And above and beyond, obviously, all the abstract things, it's just the concrete logistics of having the time to make that contribution, isn't there? If you've moved to the UK and you have a family and a job in the NHS, it's hard to find the time to engage in these kind of fellowships and opportunities. So it's very important that that's looked after. But we have a few minutes more to be still. Yeah, so I have some more questions, but I would also don't want to hog the microphone. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to ask a question of any of the panel members, please just pop your hands up. Yeah. Would you? Roving mic.
Thank you so much. I'm Catherine Minor. I like being called Kate. It's about, you keep on talking about agencies, but I don't know whether you know that Kenya is in the amber list of recruitment for nurses. So when you say do background checks for these agencies, do this and that, where is the point where the Kenyan nurse who is in Kenya right now has applied for jobs so many times? They pass their CBT, they pass their IELTS, they are almost expiring those exams. They've been trying to apply on track jobs. They've been trying, and I help some of them. They are qualified, but no one is shortlisting them. Where is what is their space as far as the MOU goes? I really want an answer to this one. What do we do? Thank you.
Is this my? Yeah, I'll use this one. Would anyone like to answer that? Volunteer? No one wants to volunteer for the difficult question. Would you like to?
What was the question?
It was around, I think, just how can a nurse in Kenya, obviously, what do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, I can rephrase it. It's about nurses back home, because here we are addressing the agencies, and of course, I bet it's about the COS and what has been going on with the healthcare assistants. A valid point. The thing is, Kenya has been listed as through the Department of Health Services as being on the amber list, yeah? So agencies are not supposed to be recruiting directly from Kenya, right? So the point is, Kenyan nurses apply directly. But this is the thing, they've been applying. They apply, they are qualified, no one shortlists them. So I'm just asking, what do they do? What message are we telling them as KEMA or through the MOU or something? Thank you.
So very, very sorry.
5 more minutes.
We're allowed 5 minutes? Okay. Can we allow Moses and this end to come in first, and then we'll come back? Oh, well, you've got the mic. Sorry, go ahead, and then we'll come down here, and then, yeah.
Okay, I wanted to highlight that since we earlier on said that problems that are faced by every African coming to the UK are the same. So I really understand the pain that she feels for Kenyans that are trying to come to work here in the UK, where we are being told there is lots of shortages, but people are not getting the jobs. But however, there is a gap that I have realized as well as an individual since coming to the UK. We are so experienced, we know a lot of things. But the way we used to write CVs back home, the way we used to write our, trying to explain yourself, I don't know with other countries, but coming from Zimbabwe, it's like, you don't write much. The way I was writing my CV when I was in Zimbabwe and the way I'm writing it now here in the UK, it's so rich that they realize that this is a person that we need. But if they had to look at the CV that I wrote when I was home, I was just showing as if I'm just a general nurse who doesn't know much. That's why even when we are in the UK right now, it's so difficult for many to move from the trust that took them from home to another trust. It's not because they don't qualify. Jobs will be there, but it's all in the writing. It's all in the wording of these applications. So I think as associations, we need to have some webinars to teach our people that are here so that they can be able to teach those that are at home as well, so that they can be able to market themselves. At the end of the day, I understand and I believe, and I think I'm also an example of a very rich nurse, a nurse who is a midwife, a nurse who can do a lot of things, because we were trained to work where there is no doctor, isn't it?
Yeah.
So why is it that when we come here, we are looked at as if we don't know anything? So I think as associations, we really have a lot of input that needs to be instilled in us so that we can be able to share all that information so that at the end of the day, our people don't struggle to come here. It should be difficult to come here via an agency rather than on your own. But agencies seem to take more because they do the things for us most of the time. Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I Moses and Shima to speak, and then we'll...
Moses and Shima, and I think Kezia, you had your hand, and that's it. And Ben, and please just shortly. Yeah.
Moses. Oh, thank you. I think from my side, I was able to attend the Kenya stakeholders meeting, and I think some of the issues you've highlighted here were said about. I think the report came out. Sir, I don't know if you got the report from the British High Commission and the Ministry of Health about the same issue about the MOU. So I think you should reach out to the Embassy and Ministry of Health and put your voice in there. The other part as well, I think THET manages the Global Health Workforce Capacity Building Program, and how can the diaspora be part of this as well? I think Kenya is one of the countries, Nigeria and others, but I think we need to put ourselves there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Okay. Thank you. So there's several approaches that could come together to make that challenge a little less challenging. And we've talked about a lot of them and the collaboration. There's a lot of platforms right now here in UK to enable us to collaborate with a lot of decision making, to inform a lot of policy making and things like that. But you as an individual has to engage with those programs, because the more you engage, the more you can influence and put your voice out there. And the collaboration we're talking about as diaspora groups, if we put our voices together, it makes a stronger case for everybody, and everybody moves along together. On individual basis, because you cannot stop people applying before the memorandum of understanding comes into good effect, you have to do your due diligence. And I'll go back to that, what everybody has said, because we recruited as a trust directly individuals who want to apply direct to us. So there was no money exchange for NHS jobs. We paid to repatriate people to come and work for us. We interviewed them online. We did their visa applications and everything, but people still paid agencies to come and work on a skilled worker visa. A year later, they are still working on a skilled worker visa, just because they did not do their due diligence. Okay? I was preparing people for applications, interviews in my diaspora group on Zoom that is provided by the diaspora group, but they had to find that information for themselves and find the diaspora group that would support them to tell them some of this information to inform their decisions and their steps. So if they're sat there looking for somebody to do that work for them, they'll be paying £10,000. I do it for free for my diaspora group because I know it's important for you when you come here, that these are the things I wish were in place when I was relocating 20 years ago. Okay, so they have to put in that effort, read the information in front of them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, very good advice. Are we clearing time?
Yeah, just for the two and then
Okay.
that's it. I'm
Two
so
questions.
sorry, it's such a lively discussion. Just short, please, Faith and Kezia.
I'm Faith and I have worked here for over 20 years as a nurse and very proud to be a nurse like all of us here, to be honest. And a lot of the questions that I've had have been answered, and the only question that I was going to maybe pose is the one of the challenges that we face. The fact that some of us came here like 20 years ago and we didn't just come with no experience, we had a lot of experience, but we end up starting from the lowest point. So is there a way the association can sort of push in a way that when nurses are coming over, they're not just put like they just qualified, because some of them have been even in education, others have been in other areas, and we just find that somebody stays in the same grade for decades and decades of years, which is not ideal. So I wouldn't wish a new nurse who is coming over to go through the same sort of a thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. I'll combine with Kezia, then Sally can answer. Thank you, Eileen.
Yeah, I think for me, my questions have been answered by Nchima, and the other question was the one Faith has talked about. But my question is to you, members of the leaders of the Black people, can I say Black Nurses Associations? How can you position yourself such that you have a voice? Because even if you have an association and you don't have a voice, then again, us who are following you, we are in trouble. And in that case, what I'm thinking, when she talked about it, I thought about recruitment, employment, and development. And as you say, most of us don't develop. You came here 20 years ago and you're still where you started. But if we were positioned in a way that we can be heard, we can be seen, it will be easier for those who are coming after us? That's my thinking.
Just while we're coming across with the microphone, on the first question, just to say, as a trade union, we're very aware that that's a really important issue and there's lots of people held back, not recognised for their experience. There are some negotiations happening with NHS England at the moment after our pay dispute last year. I've been putting the point very forcefully that there needs to be more recognition of experience of overseas nurses and more opportunities to help people climb the ladder as well. There's definitely a lot more that needs to be done, but just to say it is very clearly on the table and being discussed. So who would like to come in to answer those questions that we just had? Oh, sorry, there's another question here.
What I wanted to find, maybe just as an encouragement, you know, you guys from Kenya, this is a very big step in terms of, you know, making sure that you have put your foot into the door so that you can influence policy. I just wanted you to share, you know, with the others how you did it, what are the things that are needed, because if we are going to tackle this issue of, you know, problems that nurses or healthcare workers, you know, coming from Africa to wherever to come to work in the UK, if we are going to tackle the issues about, you know, paying the agencies and that kind of thing, this is the way forward, because we need to have to take away the agencies from the equation so that we can, you know, the people can deal directly with the, you know, the employers in the UK. So how did you do it? Can you share it with the other, you know, associations so that we take away this problem, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Who would like to come in?
Some of the initiatives are already in place. So there is a consortium of all the diaspora associations. Again, you need to look for the information because I have a day job. I put information on the website and I expect people to read it. NHS England has got, I don't know, I mentioned the Stay and Thrive project that I've been working on. They've got an international recruitment and retention strategy with a full platform on the website sharing those same initiatives that you are asking about. So we share case studies and things like that. What works in my diaspora group, what works in Sally's diaspora group, what we are doing, what they are doing. And we have a platform where we talk to each other, to teach each other. On the Stay and Thrive, it's NHS England platform, but we meet every month on a meeting where we share best practices. So if I say to you, I've got new recruits who've been here less than 3 years and they're in band 7 roles, it's because they've done their due diligence to find that information. I'm there, but I can't find you if I don't know that that's what your challenge is. Okay, so I can sit there in my trust, and if I'm not in the diaspora group, then I'm not offering that out. Third, will do research. So they've got a case study where they've done a research to inform the policies that are presented to Parliament to influence such decisions about the things we're talking about. And they'll do case studies about diaspora people who have brought their experience from abroad, who are influencing some of those changes within their work environments. So there's a full report about experts in our midst, and some of us are on that report. So it's engaging with things like that, because I don't have capacity as an individual to go and start informing individuals out there. Britain is very big, later on the whole world. So it's about looking for the right information, finding where you can do that. So THET engages with all diaspora groups. NHS England engages with all diaspora groups. On the latest one is the NMC diaspora, what are they calling it now? There's a forum at NMC that they're having with diaspora groups to inform their decisions as well. So our diaspora groups are all invited, and we've got a seat on there, and we inform those decisions concerning international nurses. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
Do we have time or do I have? I'm being told no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We are really running late, and there is also presentation from the NHS England.
Can I just very quickly summarise? I think because
yes,
it's really
you can
good information.
summarise.
Obviously, be informed is coming through very, very strongly. People have got to find the information, got to learn, do their due diligence. Also, stand up for yourselves, really sell your expertise and your experience and look for those opportunities. And I think as well, work together is coming through very, very clearly, isn't it? The associations know a lot, you have a lot of power when we work together, so that's obviously something we need to do. Thank you for me for all the questions. Just to say, in terms of Unison, we are going to be running a webinar with Kenma at some point after the conference to speak more about what Unison can do for you and how you can help and how you can join. So please keep an eye out for that and join at some point in the future. But can we please just have a big round of applause for the expertise of the panel? Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, panel members. Thank you. Please have your seats.